Hi, everybody, it's Mission Man, and in this episode of Behind the Songs, I'm going to tell you the story behind the song Open Mic and then perform the song. And for the rest of these videos, I have actually performed the song first and then told the story, but I felt like the story adds more to the song, and you may have already heard the song because you've seen my lyric video, and so I wanted to focus on the story first because then the live performance means a bit more. And if you're interested in any of those other videos, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description and the pinned comment at the end screen and maybe even above if you want to find out more about any of those songs. But for open mic, the journey for that really started in 2004 at Stadium in Oxford, Ohio. I had a show booked, and they told me to get back with them a week later to confirm the show was still on. And when I went back that week later, they had booked somebody else. That person had a much bigger following, and they knew that they could bring out a lot of people. And so they went with him and left me without a show. But they told me that they had open mic nights on Wednesday nights. I was hesitant because I had never been to an open mic. I didn't really know what it entailed. I had heard of people, playing acoustic covers, and you know, that was my impression of open mic, and I wasn't sure that my music was going to work because at that time I would just bring in a keyboard that had my pre-programmed beats on it, and I would rap over those pre-programmed beats using that keyboard, and I just was really unsure how that was going to go over. And so the first week I finally went after hesitating for a while, and I got no response. No response the second, third, fourth, fifth week. 5 weeks with people basically just giving me quizzical looks when I was walking up the steps with my keyboard, and blank stares when I was walking down the steps. There weren't applause, there weren't boos. There was mainly just confusion. And I decided I'd give it one more week to see what would happen. And if it didn't work out, I would try a different route. And so I went that sixth week, and I performed a medley of Plain Low Basketball, Weightlifting Jam, and Chillin' at the Papa. And 3 people went nuts after I did that medley, and I was just like, "Wow, this is amazing! This is working! This is fantastic!" And they told me they'd bring more people the next week, and so I went back the next week, and they brought out like 10 people with them. And the following week, I think it was 20, and then it got as high as 30 or 40, and those were specifically to see me. There were other musicians that were showing up that were bringing out 20 or 30 or 40 people themselves because this was in a college town. And so, one of the performers lived in a dorm and basically brought his entire dorm with him. I think another one was in a fraternity and brought a bunch of his fraternity members. So these were packed open mic nights on Wednesday nights. And they led me to gaining a strong following. And my biggest show ever was in Oxford, Ohio at Hole in the Wall in January of 2005. I brought out 120 people to come see me at this little dive bar. If you're not familiar with Hole in the Wall, that's what it is. It's a little dive bar. It really should be a hole in the ground. If you've been there, you know that 120 people is probably exceeding fire capacity. It was a tightly packed room, and it was an incredible show, and it was all because of doing these open mics. And the other thing that open mics did for me was allow me to tour a little bit more often, because in 2003 I had booked 9 shows, but at that point the way you had to book shows was you had to mail CDs out with some kind of press kit, whether it's just a handwritten letter, typed up letter, photos, and the actual physical CD, so that the booking agent at the venues would listen to those, and then they would have like a 2-hour window on like a Monday or a Friday where you could call and get a hold of them to actually book the show. And it was, if they didn't answer during those 2 hours, you just had to wait another week. So it was a very different process than now, where you just send out an email and wait. And I spent a good $500 booking those shows, and they were all, the entire experience was amazing. And I had a couple that there were big crowds there because they were there to see the other band, and they enjoyed what I was doing while I was on stage. But it wasn't a good way to fill in those dates. But doing the open mics at Stadium allowed me to, the next time I went on tour, if it was a slower night, Sunday through Thursday, I would just fill it in with open mics while I was on tour. And so I did that quite a bit. And I performed at probably 100 open mics across the country. And so I felt like I should write a song partially based on that experience and partially as a double meaning for this is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. It's about my microphone being an extension of, what a lot of musicians refer to as their diaries or their journals. It's their innermost feelings expressed through lyrics, and the lyrics are expressed through my open mic, open mic, kind of like an open book. And so that's where the double meaning comes in on that. And there's a line where I talk about the first verse of Disperse in person made me so nervous that I couldn't breathe through my dry mouth as my eyes dried out and gave me a headache. That really was about my first time ever performing live. There's a very big vulnerability to performing live, the first time performing at open mics to strangers that you've never met. You're putting your words out there that are very personal, and people can do with them whatever they want. They can trample you, they can break you down, they can build you up, they can form a bond, they can ignore you, and all those things come into play when you're walking up those 3 steps for the first time to perform for those people. So there's a lot that goes into it in that aspect as well. And so that's the basics kind of what the song is about. And if you have questions about any specific lyrics within the song, please leave those questions in the comments and I will reply to them. But I really wanted to give you the overall view of what the song was about first. And now I'm going to get into a different angle here to actually perform the song. But I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you enjoyed the performance. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. This is me showing you my heart and my words. I don't know where to start, but you may have heard that there's a stage and it's open to all. I don't know how many of you are hoping to fall, but even if all the way down to the ground and cover my face in the broken shards, my empty pleasures, thankful of ain't not much respect for anyone who gets to the open mic check. Cause the first verse that is first in person, maybe it's the purpose that I couldn't breathe through my dry mouth as my eyes dried out and gave me a headache. But I knew I still didn't make a mistake when I opened the gate and changed my fate. So now when I wake, I'm ready to wait to bake, never try to burn out. Thankful for what I've earned, not no matter the times I've been turned down. I've had to learn how to get past entries, objectives, achieving stupendous reflections, horrendous rejections, my malintended reflections that gain tremendous exceptions. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. This may be the first time you hear this, it might not be the lyrics. If you get near this, you might miss the lyrics. And for you, this is just a moment at own, just hoping your rent will be over the fence, so my words can circulate. I don't know if you heard them later, if you've been listening, sometimes I hear people whispering, and it's out of my monitors at home. I'm struggling to get a 2 sticks in a rainstorm, trying to stay warm, so watching like the fires go from spot to spot to ring, as I mind the fire ring, and never cut the trials to cause the fun of things. Hoping these moments will escape to my faded, slipping my dreams and feeling screens, trying not the whispers going over the whiskers, slipping in the vehicles, watching it all. Sometimes I don't sleep at all. I stay up for days, singing the waves that bringing the gaze, that singing the days. And I'm confident that my music is good enough. My skin is tough, but walking up 3 steps across deep breaths before it changes. Sometimes I have to overcome the anger to feel close to the neighbors. I've overcome a lot of hatred as I made this to the love I'm feeling now. And that love is much more valuable than money. I love that some of you love me, which is what I'm focused on. And I don't rap hopeless songs when hope is gone. So am I. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. I've had some magical times, better than classical rhymes, and I don't need validation from the masses. Waiting for a slide, watching my lasses passes by. I don't be half as fly like I am pie in the skies, with my feet in the dirt and sleep in the earth. I know what the love of people is worth, cause I cannot do it on my own. I only had 2 hands and a microphone, since I call out, but there's no dial tone. So I need you to hear me and share with your friends. I don't have the ends make me easy. It's been so quick, share and hit send, so no, I'm not done yet. When I ride off to the sunset, I'll keep riding through the night, guided by your light. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my light, you'll understand what I write. This is my open mic. and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my life, you'll understand what I write. This is my open mic, and I'm hoping tonight that when I show you my life, you'll understand what I write. Thank you all very much. I hope you enjoyed the story behind the song and the performance. And like I said, if you want to see any of the other behind the songs and learn more about how the songs came to be, the stories behind them, go ahead and check out the Behind the Songs playlist. And thank you all very much for watching. Have an incredible day. And if you don't already, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe the video. All right.